Alright, looks like we're off. Early map check. I didn't see what pendant we had on Desert. I saw Crystal 3 up on Heron 6 on Eastern, though.
Yeah, it looked like blue pendant on Desert, I think.
We'll have to double check, make sure. It looks like our tracker's got it set as a blue pendant, but we'll get a map check on Wulfy's side eventually, so we'll be able to confirm that. But I trust our tracker. Well, wanted Fire Rod, which was red, but they still got red, just not the right kind.
Yeah, just slightly off on that guess.
And then just a big 20 in the other chest.
Yeah, so Red Cane is one of the more interesting starts, simply because, like, it's not necessarily intended to be a weapon, so it's kind of hard to clear out escape efficiently with it.
Yeah, I believe the damage it does is equal to Fighter's Sword, so not as quite the damage as some of the other starting weapons either. And we get our first shield.
Yeah, not really anything of note, unless maybe they get Fire Shield for blind, and that's kind of helpful, but yeah, not the most progressive item they're going to find.
Yeah, not really. It helps to find it early, especially if you find that second shield and get Fire Shield, like you said, for something like blind. And then, you know, even getting something like Mirror Shield if you have to go to Laser Bridge. Always makes it quicker. So far, still no bomb drop off any of the guards.
Yeah, that's another drawback to the Cane Escape, is that it's kind of hard to farm for a bomb when you have to, like, be kind of spamming the block everywhere.
Yeah, the guards it's a little bit harder, but in the sewers where you have the ropes and the rats, definitely a lot easier down there to farm. A little bit of different stress here. Wulfy just using the Cane of Samaria. I've got a map in Zelda's chest, and then Shorts was using the pot strat. And from the looks of it, the pot strat was a little bit quicker, because it looks like Shorts made a little bit of time up there.
Yeah, pot strat's a little bit quicker, and it preserves your magic, which could be useful coming up into the back of Escape.
Yeah, thankfully Samaria doesn't use too much magic, and worst case there are some magic drops back there as well. So if Wulfy's really concerned about his magic, he can always grab some of those. Which, you know, might be an idea as well, because currently we have no idea when we're going to find another weapon. This might be their only weapon for a while.
Yeah, it sure could, and knowing that those mag drops are there is usually pretty helpful.
And also from the looks of it, we already found the key and the map too, so that means every chest back here in the sewers is actually going to be an item. Whether it's important, we don't know, but it will be an item.
Yeah, indeed. In the worst case scenario, if a glove is locked behind that bombable wall, they will get this light cone that you can see on Wulfy's screen for escape. Like, this light cone will persist after the escape sequence is done, so it's possible they will have to come back here.
Yep, I've seen it a couple times. So yeah, Wulfy was trying to farm for a bomb there. Same as Shorts, but Shorts having that little bit of extra magic. Get a magic cape.
Magic cape's never a good sign this early in the run.
Nope, that's one of those items you don't want to see until you have Dark World access. Nope, Wulfy gets the bomb drop. See if Schwartz gets it. Because it was off a rat, so we'll see if Schwartz decides to farm some rats while he's down here. Looks like he's going to. There he gets his bomb.
There he goes, yep.
Okay.
That was extremely helpful.
Yeah, potion, ether medallion, and the mirror.
So mirror and ether will probably be more helpful later. The potion is the most immediately helpful item because that unlocks an item location in Kakariko Village, which is probably where both these runners are headed to next.
Yeah, and then especially if Sick Kids ends up having something, you know, if one of these runners would have missed that, that could have been a huge find then. I was hoping for something super important in the Sanctuary chest, but we just get a piece of heart.
Yeah. So, you know, it's a nice bookend. You got a piece of heart out of Link's house, you got a piece of heart out of this last chest and escape. I appreciate the symmetry.
Yeah, but I'm sure at this point, you know, assuming the next area they check is going to be Lumberjack Cable, which that's where it looks like Wulfy's going at least. Probably hoping to not find anything important up there. Alright, so I believe that would have been the Tier 2 tree pole.
I believe that's correct, yeah.
And Bush Crab is just magic. And Schwartz is not checking Lumberjack Cave.
Oh, that's important.
Well, hey everybody, do you want to egg a 1 seed? Because you got it.
Yeah, just a little.
See, now the thing is, and this is going to be huge for Wulfy. He knows that. I'm the Schwartz. Don't know if he's going to go check it right away. And he might check every other location before even thinking about it.
Yeah, if we find Boots a little early, he may go back for that, simply because, like, I know a lot of runners will wait until they get Boots to check that location, but yeah, that could be huge information on Wulfy's side.
Yeah, Signal C, it was the Moon Pearl. So there is no beating around the bush or anything like this. Ega 1 is going to be required, and it is going to be an early requirement as well.
And you can see we already have the cape in the first sword.
Yeah, we're only a lamp away. And then technically Boots to get it as well, so we're going to find a lot of this stuff very early. Get some flippers. No bombs for either runner down here, so that means they're going to have to go buy bombs and come back. But both runners will have to do it. There's a bomb upgrade, not what you're looking for. Well, there's some bombs.
Oh, there we go.
And an ice rod. And early silver arrows, those are always nice to find.
Yep, definitely extremely helpful to find those both early. Assuming Turtle Rock is a crystal, which we obviously don't know yet.
Alright, so bottle just turns into the quiver upgrade, so... Alright, so Blind's Hut just ended up being some rupees, it looked like. This might be important to note. I think I am the Schwarz might be just farming some rupees to get to 150. With Wulfy having bought bombs, he's either going to have to skip Bottle Merchant or farm a little bit more rupees than what I am the Schwarz is going to be doing to be able to get the Bottle Merchant.
Yeah, that is true. And with the flippers that they've found in Kakariko, they also have King Zora and Logic, and they're well short of King Zora right now.
Yeah. I mean, plenty of locations to check, and well, Bottle Merchant, you know, gives half your money back.
I mean, not worst case scenario for that check.
Yeah, I mean, only a minor ripoff. We see a chicken clip on I am the Schwarz's side.
Nice, always go for swag.
Yeah, but I am the Schwarz picks his bombs up as well. Because he was completely out of those bombs, so... Actually, no, Wulfy won't have to farm at all. Looks like he's got the 100 needed for Bottle Merchant. And he'll get his 50 return. So I think if we're thinking at this point, progression really is the lamp. Worst place for the lamp to be, as of right now, is probably Zora. Just because of the lack of money right now. We have no idea if we're going to find money.
Yeah, not only that, but if we don't find any money, having those flippers removes a lot of options for entering the Houlihan room. Oh, there's another sword.
Yeah, so Boots unlocks the Moon Pearl and the Master Sword. So the odds of having to do a Fighter Sword Agate Tower is very high. And there's some gloves. So I'm the Schwarz is going to make up some more time since he's just blindly checking it. We'll see if muscle memory kicks in here and you save and quit, or you go and check that shovel first. Well, I am the Schwarz is going to go ahead and save and quit first, though. Oh, he's going to go check the shovel location from here. And Wulfy's going to walk from the race game.
And it's nothing.
Yep, just a piece of heart. So I guess it's going to be interesting to see Wulfy, since he knows about Moon Pearl's location, the moment he gets access to Dark World and Agate Tower, if he just immediately goes to Agate Tower and just doesn't even check any more locations in Light World.
Yeah, that might be his thinking once he gets that lamp. Like, you have to do it anyway, and I think in this situation, the boots on Pyramid Ledge gamble would be a little bit worth it.
Yeah, okay, so it was a red pendant, so... over in Desert, but we got the Book of Mudora inside of the dam. At least we found it inside, not outside. Who wants a soggy book?
I mean, it'd be pretty much unusable at that point. Like, you couldn't even read the type.
It's like, hey, you need this to get into Desert Palace. Oh, too bad you can't read it because we put it in the water.
Yeah. No, just kind of squint at the text and hope you get it right.
Which, in thinking about it, with well, there's the lamp, so Aga's on the table now. And the boots.
Yes, so that opens up Castle Tower, and that also opens up Lumberjack Cave, so that's definitely going to be Wulfy's next stop. Unless he wants to grab the Master Sword, which that would definitely make August Tower easier.
Yeah, I think that's something that would be done just because of how much easier that'll make that climb. And the only reason I would see them just not going to Aga right now is, yes, you can go get the Moon Pearl right away. Which looks like Schwartz might be making the play. We'll see. Okay, he's going to go get the sword first. But, yes, you can make the play, grab the Moon Pearl, but it doesn't do anything for you unless you end up finding the hammer or the mitts on Aga Tower as well. Or on Pyramid Ledge, that would be.
Yeah, that is true, and with their current item set, they do also have Tower of Heron Logic, which is a crystal for them.
Yeah, they have that, and even, you know, Desert is completely... Well, yeah, Desert's completely open, too. Because they've got a fire source and boots.
Yeah, that is true. It's a pendant, so they may delay going over there, but they got that early bug, so it wouldn't surprise me if they went there pretty quickly.
Yeah, it almost feels like the seed is pushing you towards Desert right now. You've got the book, you've got all the items needed to go into Desert at this point.
Exactly.
The only thing that really stops you is like, it's a pendant. I don't know if I really want to dive a pendant this early. But Wulfy, he's just going to make the play to Aga. Got the Bloomerang in the Bonk Rocks.
Yeah, it's somewhat helpful in spots, but not really anything you want.
And I think, is Schwartz going to go? Yep, he's going to go check Lumberjack Cave now that he's got the boots. So he's going to see the Moon Pearl. Yep, sees the Moon Pearl, knows it's an Aga required seed, and that he can go clear Aga right now.
And there may also be this behind Wulfy's play on Aga Tower. He's going to be able to grab the Moon Pearl on his way to Death Mountain, so it's going to be a slightly more efficient route for him, the way he's played the seed so far.
Yeah, and then especially if he would find something like Hammer or Hookshot, then he'd have access to Eastern Death Mountain as well going up there. Because I know even though you're not going to have the Moon Pearl, you're going to at least check the Pyramid item after clearing Aga before doing your save and quit. Old man just has some pocket change. And these rocks just not making it easy.
And not at all. Death Mountain can be super hard to navigate because pretty much everything on Death Mountain is RNG. Get a nice... Was that a flute on Death Mountain?
I didn't catch it. It looked like a flute just as the screen was leaving. I'm going to guess it was something important because he's going back for it.
Yeah,
so I saw blue, so I'm going to guess yes, it was the flute.
Yep, confirmation there.
So he does decide to save and quit. Because he's going to unlock the flute, and we'll see where he goes after that. Because there's actually still a good amount of Light World available that's fully within logic. Hera's completely open, Desert's completely open. We've got Eastern all the way up until the Armos Knights and Sahasrara as well, plus Zora's area. Nobody's been to Zora yet either.
And everyone's favorite one-off location, Nagina's Cave, still available.
Yep, there's that too. Thankfully you have desert access, so it's not too bad.
Right, yeah. Can be pretty convenient to route in.
Yep. He's making the play to Aga. I think I've seen 4 blue balls so far.
I can't say I've been counting, but yeah. Oh, yikes.
Yeah, not only is it an AGA 1 seed, but it's an AGA 1 seed that forces you with this many blue balls.
Yeah, now one good thing about the randomizer, both runners are going to be getting the same amount of blue balls, but oh jeez, Aghanim, please.
Yeah, I'm going to double check and make sure on my count, but I think that's 7 right there, and he's still not dead either. On the bright side, I think that the next one will kill him. I'm pretty sure. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
So 8 blue balls, I want to say. We'll have to make sure. We'll have to keep an eye on iamtheschwarz side, but I'm pretty sure it was 8. Mr. Neradar, Lumberjack has the Moon Pearl. And just some bombs on the pyramid.
And then Wulfy, I think, forgot that he has the mirror, and he'll be reminded now.
Yep. It's just one of those things you don't think about too much because it's like still not something you do very often. To where the point you're just so used to saving and quitting out of the dark world. And if you've got the mirror and you've killed Aga, then save and quits in the dark world just keep you in the dark world.
Yeah, and there's probably very few seeds that would have you like kill Aghanim to get the Moon Pearl while you have the mirror in tow. So yeah, that was probably muscle memory again for Wulfy.
Wulfy gets his Moon Pearl. Still need to find one item though before we can actually go in a dark world and get something, unless the progression is in Palace of Darkness or at Catfish.
Yeah, they have access to parts of Dark World, but not access to the entirety of Dark World, so...
Yeah, but Wulfy's gonna escort the old man, and I'm sure he'll go get his flute. We'll see if he's gonna go into Hera, though, which I see him going into Hera, because it's a crystal and you need to complete it. You're already up here at this point.
And he doesn't have anything else distracting him from Hera like Schwartz did with Aghanim, so...
Yeah, I think Catfish progression would be cruel. The only other place that would actually be cruel on progression would be Lake Hylia Island, because that is accessible right now, actually, too.
You're right, I had to think about the map in my head for a little bit. I've never had to deal with that.
Oh yeah, Ether Tablet's open too. Maybe not something important, but considering you're 25 minutes into the siege, still sitting at 5 hearts, probably a welcome sight to see a heart container.
Yeah, definitely no reason to complain about that. heart piece, maybe you're a little less enthralled by, but you definitely want that heart container.
Alright, so one item out of Hera's Bombos. There's our map check. We have a green pendant on Swamp, blue is in Pod, and our 5 crystal is in Skull Woods.
And then Schwartz doing the same thing as Wulfy, saving and quitting.
Second item is half magic, so we're not going to have to go into the basement, and probably not going to say no to half magic.
Absolutely not. It's one of the better safeties to have in the game, in my opinion. Ooh.
Trolldorm will get his. But on the comeback to Trolldorm, very nice and quick. So Swamp Palace has one chest that can have an item in it available right now. Just one though, because everything else is hammerlocked. Alright, now where are you going now, Wulfy?
I don't think he picked up his flute yet, so I think with this route, he decided to clear Hera first because he knows that without the hammer, he doesn't have to worry about East Death Mountain, and so he's just going to be able to grab the flute and save and quit after having cleared out this entire area.
That's true, that saves some time.
Now Wulfy's going to go to Kakariko, we'll hear the Swag Duck Anthem for the second time, and we will unlock fast travel.
Yeah, because if there's anything better than an Aka 1 seed, it's an Aka 1 seed where you get to hear Swag Duck twice.
Oh yeah.
So question in chat, where would you go if you were Wulfy? He's going to go to Desert, which that would be the play I would make just because of how the early seed went. Finding pretty much everything you need to clear this dungeon, even though it's a pendant.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. That book has to be signaling something, I feel.
Yeah, and even if there's nothing in Desert, Desert Ledge has 300 rupees. Zora, you haven't been to Zora yet and you've got 131 rupees? That's probably a nice thing to see.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to remove a lot of farming from the equation if Zora has something.
Oh, Schwartz also takes the Trolldorm fall, but he takes it down the middle hole. Well,
yeah, that's important.
Yeah, we thought the seed was pushing us towards Desert, and the seed certainly was pushing us towards Desert.
Also, shout out to this nice backwards progression. Aga Tower to go to Tower of Hera, to go to Desert Palace, and then he's probably going to be dipping Eastern after this.
I mean, yeah, at this point you can clear it. The only reason I would say he might not just go directly to Eastern is he could go to the pod area at this point.
That is true.
Mirror. But you know, we're looking for another item in here. Why not just give him the hammer?
Wow.
I swear I'm not a witch, chat. I promise.
Are you sure? That was amazing, yo. So that hammer doesn't lock everything in the Dark World except for all the myth block spots. So yeah, those are two huge finds in Desert Palace.
Yeah, that's full Dark World access at this point. Actually, no, not quite full. We can't get to... Oh no, it's hammer. Duh, what am I thinking? Yeah, there's full Dark World access, so... I'm thinking you can't get to Village of Outcasts yet because you don't have a hookshot or mitts. I'm like, wait a second, you just go to the Dark World from Skull Woods. Duh.
Yeah.
Also, Chad, if you want to burn me, I'll be behind the building after the stream. So wait until after the stream to burn me.
Yeah, I can try a solo commentary, but, you know, not quite now.
Guess the question with Pod, though, is it's also a pendant dungeon. If you find something important, it's like, do you keep going or do you just gamble that there's nothing left in there?
That is a very good question, because we are a hookshot away from having the Master Sword pedestal open to us.
Yes, we are.
We had... It looks like it could just be Fire Rod or the incredibly rare Titan's Mitts, or Quake if it's required for one of our medallion dungeons.
Yeah, as far as what can be on pedestal, there's not too much that can be available. Really just Fire Rod or Quake or any of the fetch quest items, so powder or mushroom.
Yeah, or mitts, which I don't believe I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, mitts could actually be on there, that's right. I was like, no, it's like, yeah, none of those dungeons are locked by mitts. That rare chance that maybe there's a glove upgrade on the pedestal. So yeah, as far as go mode, then we're possibly only 2 items. We might only need Fire Rod and Hookshot, but there's the chance we might need, or in mitts, so 3 items.
Yeah.
And potentially Quake, so maybe 4.
Yeah, neither runner opting to kill Landmo though, so they're not too scared of pedestal right now.
Yeah, which I don't really blame them, because there's not many items that can be on pedestal right now. If you were looking for a lot of items still at this point, then I could more see going for the Landmo kill, even though he's not going to have an item. But you know, you're probably thinking, is my opponent going to do this? Probably not. So if I do it, I'm wasting time, and gambling on something like pedestal, you know, usually not the wisest ideas.
Yeah, exactly. The reason we get so hyped for pedestal is because it happens so rarely.
Alright, we have a little bit of divergence here. Schwartz checking Hype Cave, which we haven't seen yet. Well, there were mitts. And I give Hype Cave swag out of 10 because we found the swag net.
Yeah, pretty fair rating, I'd say.
Alright, we're gonna get, looks like a hammer, yup. Very nice hammer, yo.
Yeah, indeed, that is a very difficult trick to pull off, so making it look easy.
Alright, piece of art in the cave south of the grove. 100 more rupees. There's the money for Zora if you want to go there. We got a mirror shield.
Yep, so that's all the items in pod, and Wulfy's not even going to bother with Helmasaur.
Yeah, I think if that might have been green pendant, you know, at least think about it because you're already in the area, so you could drop the pendant off. But
You know, red pendant just a compass. You're willing to take the risk that it's a double dip if it turns out that it's still the thing, which could be, but probably not.
yeah, I mean, and if they find the fire rod, which if they find the fire rod in Eastern, I'm just gonna quit at that point. You know, a Skull Woods play at that point just to check the pedestal since you need a crystal anyways, and it's your other 5-6 crystals, so that unlocks the Fat Fairy.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, as far as, you know, the routing both of them, you know, going into desert, basically getting the access to pod and Eastern. I mean, that's easily the best play you're going to make just because of how many items you're going to find in the area. Looks like you're just going to be a little bit different. Schwartz is going to head into Eastern verse, though. Frankie, dude, technically hookshot is needed for every seed logically because you need it to cross to grab to the last chest after killing Trolldorm 2. You could technically hover it if you know how to do that, but logically it's needed for every seed.
Yeah, there's very few known hovers in the world who can just completely skip hookshot. Like, I think it's happened once in this tournament, but yeah, it's super uncommon.
We've got the King of Berna.
Yeah, it was nice to find the Sparkle Cane.
I'm not sure if he's able. I'm not sure if either one of these runners can hover. I don't keep track too much of the. I know the only runner I know off the top of my head that can hover is Andy. But I know there's a lot more that can hover than just Andy.
I think Wulfy has like a super solid NMG time, but I don't think he's at the point where like learning how to hover would make would really optimize his run that much. So.
So I think there is an item on Armos, because I think it was 300 rupees and the King of Berna is all we found so far.
Yep, it was the 3 dungeon items in the first 3 chests, and then just non-dungeon items from here on out.
It's a nice quick kill on Armos, picks up the piece of heart and the second crystal of the game. So I'll be wonder where he's gonna go now. Looks like a village of outcasts. I don't see a dip in the Skull Woods right now.
Yep, and you're right on that. With all the items that they have, Skullwoods double dip doesn't really make a ton of sense.
Yeah, it's like maybe after Thieves Town just to check, you know, if you find the fire rod there, just in case you don't find it here since you're in the area already, then maybe.
Yeah,
but
even then for Wulfy, he's still, I don't think he's gone to Hype Cave or any of those locations yet.
no, and then the other location, you know, and this would be, you know, Meyer area is open as well as Eastern Death Mountain, Super Bunny Cave is open. First Chest and Hookshot Cave.
I definitely have a ton of the world to check. Unfortunately, you're only looking for 2 items at this point.
Yeah. And Fire Rod can be in quite a few locations right now. Hookshot, also, you know, not as many locations, but pretty much just as many. I mean, Hookshot could even be behind the Fire Rod, too.
And given where the Hookshot was in their last seed, both these runners are quite aware Hookshot can be behind Fire Rod.
Yeah, because I thought I was reading that it was on Trinix.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're both probably hoping to find another sword just to make the Ganon fight easier. I'm sure they can both do Master Sword Ganon, but nobody wants to do Master Sword Ganon.
Exactly, yeah. That's never a fight you're completely comfortable with. The silvers are nice for that fight, but you definitely want that second sword upgrade just because, like, Master Sword Ganon probably isn't in either runner's muscle memory.
Well, I know I saw, I want to say it was iamtheschwarz was practicing. Well, he was spamming just silverless, so not quite the same, but
yeah.
iamtheschwarz, he picks up his Titan's Mitts. Alright, so yeah, the big chest can have the item. Which it does, and I believe that's all the items out here. I know we found 2 bottles.
Yeah, 2 bottles and I think another 300 drop. Some form of rupee.
I wonder where Wulfy will go after this, though. If you're completing crystals that you can go that really aren't that much faster in go mode, Misery Mire would be a good option.
Yeah, it definitely would. There is always the potential of the big key being in that first chest, but yeah, Mire is definitely in play. Assuming that it's not Quake for Mire.
Yeah, there were 2 bottles in Thieves Town. I'm pretty sure I saw a bottle with green goo and then a bee in a bottle.
Yeah, overall nothing to write home about.
Yep, nothing really super important in Thieves Town, but you know, need that crystal though. So
Yeah. I guess the crystal's kind of important. You kind of need that to access Gan's Tower.
Oh, actually, I know where Wulfy's gonna go. He hasn't done South Dark World yet, so
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
probably gonna do the Smiths. We'll get the World Tour with the chest probably, and to check on Bombo's tablet to finish it up probably. Then he'll, I'm guessing, flute from there, and we'll see where we're going.
Looks like Schwartz is taking this long walk through the Palace of Darkness maze, and I think this is going to be a catfish check for him.
It's gonna. That's the only thing that makes sense here, because you don't have the hookshot to go up north, and he's already checked South Dark World. I mean, Chad, if you're saying Fire Rod and Ice Palace, you're not being mean enough to the runners at that point. Okay, this is interesting. Wulfy is skipping the Smiths, it looks like.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think the logic behind this might be that it's kind of slow to do those checks. Oh, there's Quake, so we're all set on medallions.
Yep, Quake is in Waterfall of Wishing.
Okay, and I forgot that they had the mirror to go to these locations, so yeah, that's decent. I'm no longer dubious of the catfish play.
Alright, Bombo's tablet. Piece of heart. Heart container up on Zora Ledge. We have not had a pet check yet. And Zora, what are you going to have? He's going to have a love lesson. Yeah, Shorts does have the mitts. Yep. Currently, the only thing that can be on pedestal that is needed now is the Fire Rod.
Yeah, so it's kind of a conundrum. Like, you either wait until you get Fire Rod. Like, a lot of people wait until they get Fire Rod to check the pedestal with their Moth Boss fight, but you know, Hookshot can't be on ped, so.
And Wulfy's gonna, I'm guessing he's just gonna check Lake Hylia Island, check Hobo, and he'll head up to the Zora area.
That makes sense, and this is going to be new information for us, because I don't believe either runner's checked.
Not yet.
Oh, that's important.
Yeah, we get the single arrow. I was gonna say Schwartz is gonna check the item-rich location of Death Mob. Yep, that's actually looks like what he's gonna do.
Yep.
At first, I didn't think he was going to because he pulled the flute out. The hobo under the bridge was planning on blowing the bridge up.
Well, hopefully Wulfy got there in time to stop him.
Yeah, hopefully that was just supposed to be a 3-bomb drop and not the 10-bomb drop, or we might have some problems.
Yeah. Yeah, bridge might have been long gone at that point.
But getting some new information, we haven't been to Death Mountain yet. We've got a 10 arrow up on the floating island, and Schwartz is going to unlock Turtle Rock at the very least. And it'll be interesting to see if he jumps in there to check the first chest to see if this is a fire rod locked dungeon.
Yeah, given the information we've had in chat about like their last race, I believe he made that play in the last race, and that ended up costing him a bit of time. So we'll see if he is eager to make that play again.
Yeah, but Wulfy picks up their Quake and is going to go check Zora, get a love lesson up there, but we'll see what Super Bunny Cave has. $50 and the red mail. Alright, well, there's our sword.
Yeah, that's better than nothing. Better than nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to help through the dungeons you still have to go through. And Wulfy was going to keep having this divergence in the routing. Wulfy's going to head to the Mire area. Just a piece of heart in Spiral Cave. Now we'll get the 7 chests of Paradox Cave. There's the hookshot in Mire Shed.
So patience from Wulfy might pay off, because either if any of the 3 chests that Schwartz is going to be leaving behind in Hookshot Cave have something, have that fire rod, that will cost him like at least one more dip up the mountain.
Yeah, which, you know, Schwartz is going to have to come up the mountain at this point again anyways, due to, you know, not having a fire rod, and you have to clear Turtle Rock plus Ganon's Tower anyways. Wulfy might be able to just do it in one trip, who knows?
Well, I guess if Fire Rod is somewhere on the mountain, they still have to go back to clear out Skullwood, so...
Yep. So yeah, we are on the hunt now for the Fire Rod. And Wulfy gonna head into Mire, it looks like. Well, Schwartz is gonna check the Village of Outcast area. Mr. Broadstone Hookshot was in the Mire Shed.
So it is worth noting at this point, they have had this Bombos medallion since Escape, and that means that Ice Palace is completely within the logic, and Fire Rod can be blocked behind Bombos. So we may get Ice Palace coming in next for Wulfy.
Yeah, it's potential, and the only thing that might have been keeping him away from Ice Palace is the lack of hookshot, because it could have been a hookshot locked dungeon, which means you probably weren't going to find the fire rod there anyways. So, at this point, yeah, it becomes much more enticing now. And we have the Godmire.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate big key location when you're still looking for an item.
It's like, here's all your dreams come true.
Right.
Oh, wait, you're still looking for an item. Never mind.
Alright, it looks like Wulfy is gambling that the fire rod is going to be on Vitreous, which is pretty smart, because if Vitreous does have your fire rod, you don't have to touch the rest of Mire, so...
Yeah, it's not a bad play at all. And Wulfy, remembering since he hasn't went over to the left side of Mire yet, does not need to go hit that crystal switch.
Yeah, sadly no spooky action without the fire rod, but that's as good a time save as any, not having to hit the switch.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, why didn't he do spooky action? Oh, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. No
Yeah.
fire rod. Alright, and Viddy's about to die really quick now with these silver arrows. And the only boss other than Ganon that can take more than one of those silver arrows.
You'd really love to learn one day why that boss is just so much of a tank.
But no fire rod on Vitreous, so that means Wulfy's gonna dive back into the mire and look for the items. Alright, and Schwartz has a very nice fight against Blind, takes him down. We'll get his third crystal.
Alright, well, if we're going to go ahead and do the vanilla big key location, which is definitely pretty slow to set up without the lamp. Or without the fire rod, I mean. Obviously, that's a lamp.
And other than this, we got 2 more locations in Myers, so... And yeah, we haven't actually found any items, so...
Oh, and Schwartz as well skipping out on doing the Smith sequence and all those related checks.
Well, for him, it would just be the Smiths at that point,
Yeah.
because he's already done everything else.
That is true.
But you know, with the way Wulfy ended up routing that, it makes more sense because, and you know, Schwartz picks his hookshot up because he was thinking I haven't done Zora or any of the Flippers locations, just kind of routed South Dark World into the Flippers locations.
Right, yeah, that is true.
So you got to think at this point, Wulfy's either going to probably head to Ice Palace since he can full clear it if necessary, or he's going to head up Death Mountain, just because of how many items there are for Death Mountain up here, since he hasn't been to Eastern Death Mountain whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a smart play. You definitely want to go mode Ice Palace if you can. Or, no, he's going to go to Ice Palace.
I have an idea where Fire Rod is. I don't want to say it because I've already been mean to them. Well, actually, that was probably nice, asking for Hammer and then they have Hammer in Desert. But this one would just be mean.
Okay, well, I do trust your psychic power, so whatever you're thinking, I believe it.
Left side swamp.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be garbage.
Either that or Ansa Hospital, one of the two.
Yeah, anything related to swamp would just be the worst.
And we'll see where Wulfy goes after Ice Palace, because it'll be interesting to see where he goes. Because at that point he's got Swamp, Skull Woods, some overworld locations, or up to Death Mountain.
I'd have to imagine if not Fire Rod here, then he would be going to Death Mountain. Because no one ever wants to do Pendant Swamp. Vanilla Fire Rod is a possibility, but again, that's only like 5 chests as opposed to the, 14 over on Death Mountain?
Well, Vanilla Fire Rod would put it in Skull Woods.
Right, yeah.
So only 2 chests then.
Oh, right, yeah. I don't know what my math is.
You were thinking Turtle Rock. We'll go with that.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
That bomb dome looks good. Yep.
Yep. A little bit of trouble with the setup, but gets it eventually.
Yeah, I know sometimes you watch some of these runners, they just make that bomb jump look like it is the simplest thing, but even sometimes the best runners have problems with that jump. It is not an easy jump by any means.
Yeah, definitely not. It's like pixel perfect. Yeah, it's not... It's a trick that you definitely want to learn if you want to get good at Randomizer and Link to the Past in general, but yeah, it's not easy to pull off by any means.
Yeah, that's typically going to be the first bomb jump you learn. Doesn't make it easy, but it's the first one you're going to learn just because of how critical it can be.
Because I believe in the vanilla game, like if you don't do that bomb jump, Ice Palace takes like another 2 minutes to complete because the puzzle's so complicated.
Yeah, just the way you have to run through the dungeon then. Looks like Schwartz was trying to set up the spooky, but forgot he didn't have the fire rod.
Yeah, I think so too. Just like pause on the ice side for a second, like wait a second.
It's like I'm clearly missing something to do this. Oh yeah, that fire rod. That darn fire rod. Alright, Vitreous goes down nice and quick. Schwartz having to head back in as well for, I believe, one more item.
Yep, I believe he already got the 20 rupees, now has to get that heart container. And then meanwhile, nothing of significance in Ice Palace.
Nope, only going to be this crystal. Which, you know, is still very important, but just not what you're hoping to find.
Yeah, if you're full clearing the Ice Palace, you definitely want to find that fire rod. Okay, they do have one potion.
Like, you are not going to risk dying on Cold Stare.
Yeah, they did not make the spots easy to get back to.
Alright, fight becomes more manageable now. Got one of the puffs down. Alright, down goes Cold Stare.
Yep, Wulfy escapes. Oh, I didn't realize that there was still an item left in Ice Palace. Must have miscounted.
Yeah, but still no fire rod, so...
Yeah. And at least Wulfy's not going to have anxiety about gambling the Ice Tea chest.
Yep, that's that one chest, depending on how you route, it's just kind of out of the way at that point, but... Nothing there this time, we'll see where Wulfy's gonna go. And it is going to be the Death Mountain play. Meanwhile, Schwartz is going to be making the play in Ice Palace. So I wonder if Wulfy will dive at this point coming up here. If you don't find the fire rod in any of the outside of Turtle Rock locations, you jump in there to see if it is fire rod locked, or you just go through it. If it's not fire rod locked, you just continue through it and hope to find that fire rod.
I think at this point I definitely give Turtle Rock a gander. Like, I really don't want to do Swamp Palace, pretty much.
And I know there's still some overworld locations that neither one of them have checked. I don't believe either one of them have checked King's Tomb yet. I want to say Graveyard Ledge has been forgotten about as well so far. Smith's Purple Chest. The Vanilla. You know, it could be Vanilla. It could be in Skull Woods this whole time.
Yeah, and this is all true, yeah. And I expect those are all things that Wulfy's going to do before he even thinks about Swamp Palace.
Yeah, I think that, you know, the gamble to go to Swamp Palace for the Fire Rod, that you're playing the meta game, and that's going to be, you think you're behind. It's like, what is my opponent less likely to do? And you're going to, at that point, you're probably almost always going to say Pendant Swamp Palace. And at that point, you just dive in and hope you're right.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason that a lot of people aren't going to be diving Pendant Swamp Palace is because, like, if you're wrong on that gamble, you've wasted a ton of time. Because that's, I think, the second longest dungeon in the game behind Turtle Rock.
Yes. If you're full clearing it, definitely.
Yeah.
Go mode's not too bad. Alright, but you know, while the runners are just kind of retracing each other's steps at this point, if you've liked what you've seen so far, definitely go ahead and go to both these runners' channels, give them follows. They've been putting on a very good race so far, and I'm sure it's only going to get better. Mr. Neradar, as far as like the Skullwoods always having value, I believe that was V27. It was when that was pretty much, you'd find progression in Skullwoods no matter what.
I will say I did see a hot vanilla fire rod seed, I think it was Sunday, so that was pretty fun. Wulfy about to get his tempered sword, and hopefully he's gonna find a red rod in here too.
Yep, found a little bit of red. Hopefully you want more. Oh, you got more red.
Yeah.
And this is another check we haven't seen. We have not seen Spike Cave yet. Just some bombs. Looks like this might be the play into, we'll see, maybe if he goes to Skullwoods or if he tries something else.
It might be Skullwoods, might be going down to do the Smith sequence, might just be doing the Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb checks. Nope, Skullwoods.
Nope, Skullwoods is the play. So it'll be interesting to see if he does decide, oh, yeah, he's going to at least start, oh, never mind, I thought he was going to start all the way from the back. But we'll see if we get a ped check after this. There's our fourth bottle. Wulfy didn't skip Red Mail. It was in Super Bunny Cave, I want to say.
Yeah, Super Bunny. Oh, and this may be Swamp for Schwartz now.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. This is the only thing that makes sense as far as what he's checked. Other than, I don't know if he's checked Bombos yet.
Oh yeah, that is true. He don't think he grabbed that when he did Hype Cave and K45 and all those things.
Yes. That was the one thing he just kind of put off, so we'll get this. Still looking for one item in Skullwoods. That's not it, though.
Nope.
Okay, Schwartz, where are you going now? Are you going to make the play into Swamp?
Yeah, he went back to Dark World, and I can't really think of another reason that he would do that.
Yeah,
unless he's very
yeah, and then Alright, so Wulfy is not going to check the pedestal, it looks like.
Yeah, honestly, I think it'd be worth a peek, because as chat's pointed out, if you find out that it's the hot rod, you're in go mode, and you can just skip the entirety of Swamp. You can just get that pen and leave.
Yeah, go mode Swamp, don't even have to check any of the chests really at this point, because you've got, you know, red mail, tempered. Really the only thing you'd be looking for is a butter sword. Alright, so first chest, got an arrow upgrade. But yeah, if it ends up being Fire Rod in here, that is huge for Schwartz at that point. Wulfy, on the other hand, he's just kind of checking these overworld locations that have been left over. King's Tomb has 50 bucks.
And it's really interesting to see these kind of like diverging philosophies on like how to play this race, because I think I checked the NMG leaderboards and there is a PB gap between these two runners, so Schwartz may be thinking that his only chance to beat Wulfy at this point, given how much he's like checked and full cleared, is to gamble this dungeon, whereas Wulfy knows he has an execution advantage, so he's not trying to squander that by making any, like, in his mind, silly gambles. So yeah, this is really interesting what's happening right now.
Yeah, it is, and you know, we'll see, because if we see the Fire Rod, whoever sees that has a pretty sizable lead at that point. Oh, got red in the pay cave, but not the right kind of red. There's the Fire Rod.
There it is.
Swamp Palace. Alright, so I was half right. I did say I was specific and said left side swamp, but it was still swamp.
Yeah, still swamp, still gross. So Schwartz has entered go mode at about 118.45.
Yep, and at this point he just has to go to the back of Skull Woods, kill Mothula, because he's not going to worry about any chests really whatsoever. Just needs, I believe, one key, which he can pick up from the pot, so it doesn't even need to check chests, and go into Turtle Rock.
Man, I can't even remember the last time I've seen a go mode swamp. This is, yeah, it's literally just go to Moth Boss.
And it doesn't, you know, it doesn't show as much as something like Swamp or Ice as far as how much time it saves. But this does save a decent amount of time not having to check chests in the front of Skull Woods.
Exactly, yeah. Wulfy still took the time to like check those first few chests, and that's time that Schwartz doesn't have to spend.
I think, though, at this point, yep, Wulfy is going to be making the play into Swamp Palace as well. I have to wonder how Schwartz feels after finding that Fire Rod in Swamp Palace. If he feels behind at this point, feels pretty good about his lead, that he doesn't know he has just at this moment, but
Yeah, you have to figure anytime that you pull something out of Swamp Palace and you still have location left to check, you think that you have like a pretty... You at least have a slight lead over your opponent because you know that like a lot of people will put off the swamp check until, like for Wulfy, it's the last possible thing.
Yeah, he pretty much checked every overworld location. The only place he really has to go at this point is Turtle, gambling fire rods within Turtle Rock itself at that point.
And I think if you're Wulfy, if you were ever going to do that, you would have done that while you're on Death Mountain.
Yeah, that would have been a play you would have made while you were up there anyways.
Yeah.
Because the moment you leave Death Mountain without diving in there, you're going to check every other location. That way Turtle Rock is the last place you have to go, because then you can just go right over to GT.
Yep, exactly.
Schwartz on his way up to Turtle Rock. Wulfy going to check some more chests, and Swamp Palace is only a few chests away from his fire rod. Oh, Wulfy's actually going to lose some time there. He's going to check left side first.
Oh, yikes. That is... Man, because, like... I'm trying to understand, because, like, it's... I think it would be faster to grab those two chests that are, like, blocked by the hook shot, but... Maybe he's just, like, worried that he would have to come back here for some reason.
I think what he potentially might be thinking about is he is currently behind because he had to come in a swamp at this point. So if you're gonna go, do swamp your normal way of fire rods your go mode, typically what you would do is skip left side. If you don't find it, come back in. So he's gambling that person did that. If it's on the left side, he's gonna gain time.
That is an absolutely fair point. Yeah.
Ooh, we have the big key and a key in the roller room.
Yeah, so at least we get to skip vanilla big key chest and go mode Turtle Rock today. Not something that you always get to do.
And the change time, I'm playing nice and eating that Samaria. And Schwartz did skip the first chest you typically check in Turtle Rock, which has a small key at this point.
Yeah, I think that was just a minor whoops to do it all. I think he expected to have that key, because like he was standing in front of that door for a second.
Yep, there's a key.
Yeah, there we go. Now we can progress through the game.
Might also be nerves too, not even thinking about it, just thinking maybe I'm behind. When you're going up against good racer, you're thinking it's at this point, yes, I've made really good decisions, but you usually always guess that your opponent made better decisions.
Exactly. Where's your opportunity to feel ahead in a randomizer race?
Yeah, usually it's not too often, but Wulfy at 1 hour 25 minutes even does find his fire rod, enters go mode.
Oh, hi, Skull. did not realize that the skull there was immune to walls.
Okay, he is gonna skip the big chest. And there's a small chance that he may need to come back now. But he won't have to.
Yeah, never mind.
That would have been a very small chance. Basically, that chest plus all of Laser Bridge would have had to be no keys at all. Because then that key would have had to be in the big chest.
Yeah, though, I mean, you have Cane of Burna, Magic Cape, and the Mirror Shield. I kind of think there was a key on Laser Bridge.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah.
Wulfy's starting his Mothula fight, and Schwartz will be in Trinex in just a moment. Alright, Wulfy gets crystal number 6 from Mothula. He's gonna...
Yeah, just gonna mirror out, but at this point he's like a full, like, Death Mountain climb and Turtle Rock behind, so it's gonna be hard to see a path to victory for him unless something goes pretty cataclysmic for Schwartz.
Yeah, at this point it's definitely Schwartz's race to lose. He's gonna have to make some mistakes at this point for Wulfy to catch up.
Yeah, exactly.
And down goes Trinex, which is going to give Schwartz his 7th crystal. So you know what time it is then?
Is it time to type numbers in chat?
It is definitely time to type some numbers in chat.
Heck yeah.
Alright everybody, you know what time it is. It's crystal number 7, so we've got a short little walk to Ganon's Tower, so please get your guesses in quick. From 1 to 22, we're guessing the big key location in Ganon's Tower. You've got just a little bit. We've got to close it up as soon as Schwartz enters Ganon's Tower. If you are a supporter of Speed Gaming, either by subscribing to any of the Speed Gaming channels or you've donated at least 250 bits to any of those channels, then you will have a chance to enter the leaderboard. Alright, chest 1's powder, chest 2 is a piece of heart, so we are not going to be going right side. And if you have to find the powder, that's going to be a good place to do it.
Yeah, it's not my favorite spot for powder, because like you always just find a Ganon's Tower and it's like, I could have used you so many times, so long ago.
Yes, definitely. We had a heart container in location number 3, Bob's torch, so Bob is going to live today. Four is 50 rupees, 5 is a small key. 6 is another small key, and 7, why not another small key? Chest number 8. There's the big key, and with 3 small keys, we are going up the tower. And my keyboard messed up and did a 3 instead of an 8. Okay, I can overwrite it, look at that. Yay for technical difficulties with the keyboard.
And shout out to Ravis10. I think you actually won the last race I called, so hey, and you are now tied for the top of the leaderboard.
Yep, caught up with Alpha Channel at that big 11 wins. But Schwartz is entering the gauntlet. And making quick work of those stealth holes with the fire rod.
Yeah, that horseshoe got away from him a little bit in the Gauntlet 4, but otherwise a very solid Gauntlet.
Yeah, and that room where they got away a little bit, that's probably one of the harder rooms there, just because 2 BMO statues. But very nice land mode too. So we're up to the 5th floor now. Just got a couple more floors. Wulfy gets his key that he needs to get to Trinex. And Schwartz gets the quad kill on
Yeah, really solid stuff in Gannis Tower so far. If he's nervous, he's not showing it right now.
Yep, and doesn't despawn the tower. Yeah, Schwartz's execution of the tower has been very good so far. Yep, and he's not worried about trying to find the butter sword whatsoever at this point. He's just skipping everything. Gonna refill his magic and his hearts and go for Troll Dorm 2. Spinning a slash takes him down.
Yep, much better than Moldorm 1.
He hook shots across and it's off to Ega 2. Wulfy's about to finish his Trinex fight up, which Wulfy gets the double hit on the spin attack and then a single hit to the head. Takes down Trinex in a very quick manner. Alright, we get a double on Ega 2. And a triple.
Yeah, very friendly setups today.
Yeah, with Ega 1 being as mean as he was with his blue balls, Ega 2 sure cooperated.
I kind of like to think that's a Seed's way of apologizing.
And Schwartz on the way to the Big Pig Ganon himself. Should be a very nice, easy fight though, with Tempered Sword, Silver Arrows.
Well, misses the double spin on Ganon, but you know, that's not going to make the difference in this race, obviously.
Yeah, something monumental would have to happen at this point.
Yeah.
Like multiple Ganon deaths, falls. It's going to take more than just one mistake at this point. And we're off to phase 3. 4 hits is going to send him to phase 4, where we just need to put 4 arrows in again inside. Right, 1 arrow in, gets the torch glitch.
Oh, barely
Almost
did
takes
that.
Yeah, almost takes the fall. Wulfy about to get his big key. It should be a double. And there it is. GG to iamtheschwarz.
Absolutely GG.
And iamtheschwarz does finish with an official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 7 seconds.
Yep, and with that win, as our tracker for today, B-Links is marked, we now have an even series, 1v1.
Yeah, so if you thought this race was hype, they've still got 1 more they have to race, and it's winner take all.
Indeed, I can pull up the bracket here because I forgot who they are playing for the right to face. Yeah, it's the winner of Hexmade versus... I always forget how to pronounce this, Faraime.
Alright, Wulfy making his way up, already up to land mode 2.
Yeah, with Wulfy's NMD experience, this is pretty much something that he can do in his sleep at this point.
Yeah, pretty much at this point, just muscle memory.
Yeah. And plus, you no longer have the pressure of the race on. Like, assuming you have the chat up, then you kind of know you've lost at this point, so that can be kind of freeing. Like, you don't have that pressure weighing on you anymore.
Yeah, definitely. And with Wulfy being not so far behind iamtheschwarz, we'll probably wait to see if we can just get both of them in here at the same time if they want to do any interviews. Everybody can enjoy the rest of Wulfy's race.
Yeah.
Wulfy starts his Ega 2 fight.
Nice 2-cycle.
Yeah, very nice 2-cycle.
Oh. Nice vanilla sword.
The unknown sword sleeps again. Well, there was our butter sword, everybody. Was this even randomized?
Yeah.
Alright, Wolf making very nice work of Ganon. Alright, and that is 4 hits, so that's going to put us into phase 4, where we just need those 4 arrows. Does not get the torch glitch, but looks like he sets up for a triple. Oh, barely.
Ooh, yeah. But still, a pretty quick cannon fight.
Yes, very clean, very nice cannon fight from Wulfy.
Yep, just has to wait for the fanfare, and the race will be ended.
Alright, and GG to Wulfy, who is going to finish this seed with an official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 47 seconds. And we're going to see if we can get them in here for any interviews.
Fire Rod ended up being in the back of Swamp Palace.
Okay, so I know at least iamtheschwarz will not be joining us for an interview because he does not have a mic. We're checking on Wulfy, so just give us a second. Still waiting to hear from Wulfy. Sent him messages, haven't heard anything back, so give it another couple minutes, see if we hear back from him. If not, probably go ahead and close things up at that point.
Alright, fair enough. I guess in the meantime, we'll just kick back with this credits music.
Yeah, but, you know, as far as the race, you know, definitely it was a good race. It was nice and close. That gamble that iamtheschwarz made to Swamp Palace, that was the play that won the race.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Like, both runners kind of covering the same ground for most of the race. It was just that last divergence at the end that ended up being the true pivot point. Oh, it looks like we're getting word in the chat that Wulfy is going to be passing on the interview.
Yep, looks like that is the case. So we'll go ahead and probably just close up shop here. I know there are some more races. Let me go ahead and pull the schedule up, actually.
Oh, I think I have it up right now. So over on Speed Gaming, we just had a race get underway between Aaron Doby and Number Play. Speed Gaming 2 has Adirondack Rick versus Andy, I guess. ALG Andy, yes.
Yep,
And
ALG.
yes. Here. Then sorry, so ALTTP Randomizer 2 has Chex Human versus JTB getting underway, and I think the race is already in progress right now, and ALTTP Randomizer is In the Name of DT versus ACMLM, so plenty of hot rando action for y'all waiting for, yeah.
Yeah, so if you only like watching one, that's fine. Go ahead and pick your favorite. If not, you like multi-twitch or any of that, you've got plenty of races to choose from right now.
And plenty of races tonight, plenty of races tomorrow. Got a lot of hot bracket action for you.
Yep, definitely. And you know, if you've enjoyed this race and if this was your first time, think about going ahead and giving all the Speed Gaming channels a follow. We've got Speed Gaming 1 through 6, as well as the ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 4. That's where you're going to catch all the tournament action on at least one of those channels. And pretty much with the way it is right now, there will be a race going pretty much at all times until the nighttime, where that's when it slows down, so everybody can get a little bit of sleep before more rando.
Yeah, exactly. And just want to give a shout out to everyone watching. That's, you know, thank you for coming out and giving this tournament a view. Thank you to B-Links for tracking, and thank you to Sir Lancelot for commentating.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great run to watch. That hype round 2 race, and now they've got to go to round 3. So winner goes to the next stage of the brackets. So, but yeah, so I'll also, you know, shout out B-Links for tracking for us. And RD Walsh the 5th for co-commentating with me, and then everybody behind the scenes that are helping to make this tournament work and happen.
It absolutely takes a lot of work and effort to put this tournament on. It's a true labor of love, though. Like, this is really fun to do.
Yep, loads of fun. We've got loads more for you, but I think that is going to do it for us on Speed Gaming 5 for the evening. So with that, I am Sir Lancelot777.
I am RD Walsh the 5th.
And I hope you all have a great rest of your evening.